Traditionally, boards and data networks were separate, like the telephone system and the organizational LAN, respectively. Separate networks mean higher network costs as well as additional staffing requirements. Integrating boards and data simplifies their network and can lower network costs. Most organizations will likely integrate boards and data within their nets. 5 years. If you were to become a network manager, some of your responsibility will be manage the day-to-day operation of the network, provide support to the network user, ensure network is operating reliably, evaluate and acquire network hardware, software, and service, manage the network technical staff, manage the network budget with emphasis on controlling costs, manage the network technical staff, manage the network technical staff, manage their network budget with emphasis on controlling costs, develop a strategic long-term networking and voice communication plan to meet the organization policies and goals, keep abreast of the latest technological developments in computers, data communication device, network software, and the internet, keep abreast of the latest technological developments in telephone technologies and metropolitan area and local area network service, assist senior management in understanding the business implications of network decisions and the role of network in business operation. Ensure the network is operating reliably, evaluate and acquire network hardware, software, and service, manage the network technical staff. Manage the day-to-day operation of the network, provide support to network users, ensure the network is operating reliably, evaluate and acquire network hardware, software, and service, manage the network technical staff, manage the network budget with emphasis on controlling costs. Planning activities require forecasting, establishing objectives, scheduling, budgeting, allocating resource, developing policies. Directing activities require initiating activities, decision-making, communicating, motivating. Organizing activities require developing organizational structure, delegating. Organizing activities require developing organizational structure, delegating, establishing relationships, establishing procedures, integrating the smaller organization with the larger organization. Establishing relationships, establishing procedures, integrating the smaller organization with the larger organization. Directing activities require initiating activities, decision-making, communicating, motivating. Controlling activities require establishing performance standards, measuring performance, evaluating performance, correcting performance. Staffing activities require interviewing people, selecting people, developing people. Staffing activities require interviewing people, selecting people, developing people. Controlling activities require establishing performance standards, measuring performance, evaluating performance, correcting. Directing activities, initiating activities, decision-making, communicating, motivating. Configuration management means configuring the network's hardware and software and documenting that configuration. So common configuration activities are adding and deleting user account, updating the software and the current computers attached to the network. Electronic software delivery can be used to manage costs by eliminating the need to manually update each and every current computer. Configuration documentation includes information on network, hardware, software, and user and application profile. Net hardware documentation uses a set of maps. This must be supplemental with lists of hardware details on each component like serial number, vendor, date of purchase, warranty information, repository, phone number for repairs. Information net hardware documentation is a set of maps. Documenting network software is similar to but includes other information like network OS, software release date, and site license details documenting network software. The third documentation type is the user and application profile, which should be automatically provided by the network operating system or outside software agreement. Other network documentation that must be routinely developed and updated include software standards and operations manuals, vendor contracts, and license. The third documentation type is the user and application profile. Other network documentation that must be routinely developed and updated include software, standards, and operation manual, bundle contracts, and license. Documentation should include details about performance and fault management, maintenance guidelines, DRP, and user support and cost management. Other network documentation must be routinely developed and updated include software, standards, and operation manual, bundle contracts, and license. Performance management ensures the network is operating as efficiently as possible. Fault management preventing, detecting, and correcting faults in networks. Security hardware and software. The two are interrelated. Both require network monitoring, tracking the operation of network, security, and device to determine how heavily they are being used and ensure they are operating properly. Both require network monitoring, tracking the operation of network circuits and devices to determine how heavily they are being used and ensure they are operating properly. Most organizations use network management software to monitor and control the networks. The parameters monitored by a network management system fall into two distinct categories: physical network statistics and logical network information. Physical network statistics and logical network information. Physical network statistics come from monitoring the operation of modems, multiple access and circuits linking hardware devices. Logical network parameters include performance measurement systems that track user response time, traffic volume of a specific circuit, the destination of network packets, and other indices showing the network service level. Performance tracking is important since it enables net managers to be proactive and respond to problems before users complain. Otherwise, network management can revert to firefighting. Further control requires problem reporting, often handled by the help desk. A central troubleshooting group should also be responsible for contacting hardware, software vendors, or common carrier to aid in network monitoring. Managed devices are now being installed that record data on message process and send this information back to central management database. To aid in network monitoring, managed devices are now being installed that record data on the messages they process and send this information back to a central management database. Numerous software packages are available for recording fault information. These produce reports called trouble tickets. To aid in network monitoring, managed devices are now being installed that record data on the messages they process and send this information back to a central management database. Numerous software packages are available for recording fault information. These produce reports called trouble tickets. Available for recording fault information. Managers use trouble tickets to do problem tracking and bring them to systematically address problem tracking, who is responsible for problem correction and how it's being resolved. This also allows problem prioritization, ensuring critical problems get higher priority. Finally, maintaining a trouble log is helpful for reviewing problem patterns on the network and can be used to identify which network components are the most problematic. The main performance statistics are the number of packets moved on a circuit and the response time. Another factor is availability. The percent of time the network is available. Downtime is the percent of time the network is not available. Main performance statistics are number of packets moved on the circuit and response time. Further statistics include mean time between failures, indicate the reliability of a network component, mean time to repair equal to the mean time to diagnose plus the mean time to respond plus the mean time to fix a problem. Repair is diagnose plus respond plus fix. Mean time between failures indicates the reliability of a network component. Circuit C had new hardware software implemented here. Circuit B moved to a new microwave channel, upper control limit, lower control limit. Upper control limit, lower control limit. Circuit A is deteriorating. Circuit A is deteriorating. Circuit B moved to a new microwave channel. Circuit C had new hardware software implemented here. Circuit Circuit C had new hardware software implemented here. Circuit B moved to a new microwave channel. Circuit C had a new hardware software implemented here. Circuit B moved to a new microwave channel. Lower control, you mean. Circuit A is deteriorating. These are the three general activities related to performance management, whether under LAMBN or MANWAN. Policy-based management, server load balancing, service level agreement. Policy-based management, policy-based management, the network manager uses special software to set priority policies for network traffic. This takes effect when the network becomes busy. For example, video conferencing might be given a high priority since delays will have the highest impact on the performance of the application. Server load balancing. Load balancing means sharing the processing load between servers. A separate load balancing server is usually needed to allocate the work between processors. The load balancing servers then allocate tasks to other processors using an algorithm such as a round-robin formula. More organizations are beginning to establish service-level agreements with the common currency service provider, which specifies the type of performance and fault conditions that the organization will accept. End-user support. Supporting end-users means solving the problem users have using the network. End-user support can be grouped into three layers: resolving network problems, resolving software problems, and training. Resolving problems. Problems stem from three major sources: hardware device failures, a lack of user knowledge on proper operation, problems with software settings, or software compatibility. Problem resolution in large organization is organized at three levels. The help desk handles basic questions. If this is not enough, staff members with special skills specific to the problem at hand are brought in. If the second level specialists are still not enough, technical specialists with a high level of training are contacted to look into the problem. End user training needs to be ongoing part of network management. Training programs are also important because employees often change jobs within an organization, so the organization can benefit from cross-training. Training is usually conducted using in-class or one-on-one instruction or with online training materials provided. Because of its large and rapidly growing budget, network management must carefully monitor network costs and will likely be called upon to justify cost increase. This requires measuring the cost of supporting user, allocating networking department budgets between hardware, software, personnel, and other costs, and understanding how these costs are changing. The total cost of ownership is a measure of how much it costs per year to keep one computer operating. TCO studies indicate it can cost up to 5 times the value of computer to keep it operational. The TCO for a typical Windows computer is about 8 to 12,000 per computer per year. Although TCO has been widely accepted, many organizations disagree with the practice of including user waste time in the measure and prefer to focus on costing matters that examine only the direct cost of operating the computer. Net cost of ownership is an alternative to TCO that measures only direct costs, leaving out so-called wasted time. And zero costs per computer are between 1500 to 3500, so net management for 100 user network require an annual budget of between 150,000 to 350,000. Using as zero the largest network budget in terms of personnel costs, accounting for 50 to 70% of all costs, WAN secures hardware upgrades and replacement charges. Using as zero the largest network budget items up one personnel costs, accounting for 50 to 70% of costs. 2 WAN secure 3 hardware upgrades and replacement costs. Since the largest item in any network budget today is personnel time, cost management needs to focus on ways to reduce personnel time, not hardware costs. The largest use of personnel time is in system management. The second largest source is user support. System management and user support. Application, software, network device, client computer. Network managers can find it difficult to manage their rapidly growing budget. Some organizations use chargeback policies for WAN and mainframe users' cost accounting mechanism. Chargeback policies allocate costs associated with the network to specific users. Chargeback policies are difficult to implement on LANs, however. 5 steps to reducing network costs. First, develop standard hardware and software configurations for client computers and servers. Second, automate as much of the network management function as possible by deploying a solid set of network management tools. 3. Reduce the cost of installing new hardware and software by working with vendors. 4. Centralized help desk. 5. Move to thin client architecture.